the manhunt was over. For Tamerlan Tsarnaev, it ended in death. His younger brother Johar, wounded and captured, and now a nation wants answers.
Why did young men who grew up and studied here, as part of our communities and our country, resort to such violence? How did they plan and carry out these attacks, and did they receive any help? The families of those killed so senselessly deserve answers.
They're still taking extra precautions here today because as yet they just don't know the reason behind Monday's attacks. One starting point is the suspects' background. We know that they're Muslim. They originally came from Chechnya and they settled in the US a decade ago. But what authorities want to know is this a case of isolation or radicalization? Some answers may come from forensic analysis of Monday's deadly attacks. The homemade pressure cooker bombs that were used, do they bear the hallmarks of organised extremism? And what other clues lie in the suspects' past lives? Investigators are looking for evidence in a variety of places. Their social media profiles. For example, younger brother Jokar's posts, like this one last year. "A decade in America already. I want out," he tweeted. It's also emerged older brother Tamerlan was questioned by the FBI 2 years ago at the request of a foreign government. US authorities found nothing untoward and closed the file. Their uncle in America denounced them as losers who were angry with the world. Yet some of those who knew the suspects say they were just like regular Americans, while their mother in the Russian region of Dagestan defended them.
I am like 100% sure that this is a set-up. My two sons are really innocent.
In Boston today, police said early indications are the two acted alone, but investigators know only this young man knows for sure. Getting him to talk is the key.
Brothers were implicated in the Boston bombings. People have been going through history books to see what is distinctive about Islam in the Caucasus. Even though this has little to do with the murky background of the Boston bombings, it will help us understand part of the context, because fundamental Islamism and Chechen nationalism is no longer just Russian politics, but now also part of American politics.
It's very clear from many Muslim leaders that they want to Islamize the world.
ایام انقلاب ایام جهانی است، در جغرافیا و زمان محدود نمی شود. تردید نکنید که انشاءالله اسلام همه کجاها رو فتح خواهد کرد؟ همه قله های جهان رو فتح خواهد کرد.
قد حكمنا الدنيا وسيأتي يوم والله نحكم فيه كل الدنيا. سيأتي يوم نحكم فيه أمريكا، سيأتي يوم نحكم فيه بريطانيا، ونحكم فيه كل العالم.
Radical Islamic groups want to see the world unified under Islam.
It's only a matter of time until we rule Earth, until we control Earth.
One day, this very flag will fly over the Parliament in London. We will see this flag that will fly over the White House, and we will see the Black House, the Kaaba, will take over the whole world.
Islam to the world.
You will take over USA. You will take over UK. You will take over Europe. You will defeat them all. You will get victory. You will take over Egypt. We trust in Allah.
Indeed, there is we who sent his messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with the deen of Haqq, with Islam, to dominate all of our other religions, to dominate the United States, to dominate the world, even though the non-Muslims may hate it. Takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. At the end of the day, Islam must control us, whether we like it or not. It's a promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a promise from Rasulullah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Russian President Boris Yeltsin realized the strategic importance of the North Caucasus, and he sent in the Russian army to deal with the Chechen uprising. 2 years later, the Russian army was defeated, and in 1997 Russia and Chechnya signed a peace treaty, and the latter was on its way to become fully independent. But after their victory, the Chechens started to fight each other. Even Aslan Mashkadov, the corps general of the Chechen army and now president of the Chechen government, could not control the fragmentation of Chechnya. The country was in complete anarchy, and its economy had just collapsed. Organized crime was surging. Islamist warlords were taking control over parts of the country. It was complete chaos. Despite Mashkadov's objections, Wahhabi Islamist warlords such as Shamil Bashayev and Ibn al-Khattab launched the invasion of neighboring Dagestan in 1999. This was in breach of the peace treaty they had agreed earlier with the Russians, and so the new president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, nullified the treaty and responded with force. Despite the danger to civilians, Putin ordered the complete bombardment of the Chechen capital Grozny. The Russian military used every capability they had: Scud missiles, artillery, airstrikes. They pretty much flattened the entire city, block by block, and obviously the number of civilian casualties was extremely high. Putin's move further radicalized the remaining Chechen rebels, and Wahhabism was surging. Up until then, Chechens were mostly Sufi Muslims. When they lost the Second Chechen War in 1999, many Chechens, out of desperation, joined the Wahhabi cause. Equally important, it is in the Second War that many Chechen warlords switched their allegiance to Russia, and from this point on, Chechens would be fighting Chechens. In the meantime, Mashkadov had lost his government and went into the resistance. And despite his objections, the Wahhabi Chechens resorted to terrorist tactics. And this is when international sympathy towards Chechens drained away. The Moscow theater hostage crisis, the school hostage crisis in Beslan, the metro and train bombings, the airport bombings, etc. Thousands of civilians were killed, and none of these terrorist tactics worked. And by the time Mashkadov died, Wahhabism pretty much became Chechen insurgency, and under the leadership of Doku Umarov, the Caucasus Emirate was declared. So the conflict in the North Caucasus is no longer limited to Chechnya. It involves the entire region. Wahhabism spread to neighboring republics, and today many of their fighters are recruited from outside of Chechnya. The Russian side tightened its grip, and the ordinary Chechens were caught in the middle. In the end, thousands of Chechens fled their homeland and formed diasporas in Western Europe and the Middle East.
I speak unto thee this day, and I say that I, the living God, am full of righteousness and mercy, truth and hope unto those who are believing and trusting in me. For I say, if it is me, the living God, that you will be believing and trusting in, you will see that I always make the way. That is, you will see that I am the one who will give thee the light upon thy path, direct thee, correct thee, and guide thee forth. And yes, you will see that I am abundant in mercy and forgiveness unto those who look to me. But I say, when you look upon the wretchedness, the misery, the woe that comes of rebellion, I say that you should be able to see it is a dead-end course. That is, when men and women will so wholeheartedly give themselves to rebellion, I say they bring their own sorrows. I say that you are living in a time when rebellion is raging throughout the land, and men and women are full of sorrows. And I say that they've cursed their generations because of their rebellion against me. I say that I, the living God, never ever intended that men would be at war with me, and yet they are. That is, they are continually at war against me, at war against my standard, my righteousness, my truth. And I say they continue in the same. And I say, because men are at war with me, I say the nation is in perpetual war. And I say that you see the sorrow of the same continually, because men will not settle themselves down to walk uprightly in me. I say you are living in a time when pride is bigger than it's ever been, and I say it's spread out in huge array. That is, a display of pride in every aspect is manifest, and men refuse to humble themselves. But I say that the consequence is of their pride that they simply take themselves down the road of their own damnation. And I say that the end of it all is their own destruction, and of course, damnation forever. I say this day that I, the living God, have intended that men would be at peace with me, that they could come forth rejoicing in me. That is, that they could be thankful for the truth, the light, the strength that I give unto them as they seek to walk uprightly in me. But I say, because you are living in a time when men are so full of pride, arrogance, and hatred for me, I say they will not repent. And I say, because they refuse to repent, it is me, the living God, who is bringing forth a demonstration in greater measure of my wrath. For I say that I'm sorely displeased, I'm grieved, and I'm very sorrowful in such a generation that has walked afar off from me. For I say that I, the living God, did many good things, blessed things intended, yet I say they refuse to receive of me. I say instead they chose to receive of darkness, to receive of that which I, the living God, did not intend. And I say, because they walked in such a course, I say they brought to themselves their own despair. I say that I, the living God, am sorely disturbed, I'm grieved, and I say that I'm very sorrowful over such a wretched mess as this generation. But I say that I've been through this before, and I say that I know exactly what to do. That is, I will bring the demonstration of wrath to such an extent that some men will be humbled and repent unto me. And I say that others shall perish in their rebellion, but I say it is their just reward. I say this day that I, the living God, do not intend that my righteous ones would be grieving, would be mourning, but rather rejoicing that it is me, the living God, who will restore my righteousness once again. That is, that I, the living God, will set the record straight. Who is it that is in charge, and men will see once again that it is me. And I say, when men are humbled, brought low, and left in the heaps of ruination, I say there will be some who will recount the values of their lives. That is, when all they have labored for and sought to bring forth is nothing but a heap of rubble, I say they will wonder at the value of the same. And I say it is me, the living God, who will indeed in the midst of my wrath reach out in mercy unto those who genuinely and deeply repent.